ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the beginning of a series of Pokemon X and Y Wi-Fi battles. My first match, the inaugural matchup, is against CK from Japan, and this is actually a very good match. I know online battle spot matches typically aren't very competitive. There's a lot of in-game teams, there's a lot of teams with nothing but Ubers, but this was a really good match. He leads off with Dragonite, I lead off with Rotom Wash. I've had this lead-off matchup before, and every time I do, I go for the Volt Switch, and they end up staying in and going for the Dragon Dance. So, of course, the one time that I go for the Hidden Power Ice, he switches out into his bulky Rotom Wash. I have to switch out because I'm Choice Scarfed, so I go into Sableye because I want to bring Rotom back in. Rotom versus Rotom is really interesting because there's not a whole lot either of them can do against each other. He reveals the Confuse Ray, so I'm thinking, okay, maybe he's got a whole bunch of status effects. Maybe he's got Will-O-Wisp. But he actually has Thunder Wave. So that was actually a really good lucky break on my part. So I go for the Volt Switch. I'm thinking to myself, he's probably got Thunderbolt as his fourth move. He's obviously got Hydro Pump. But I'm thinking he's going to go for the Thunderbolt because it would do more damage in this situation. So I bring out Gliscor, hoping he doesn't Hydro Pump, because if he did, it would have been all over right there. I activate the Toxic Orb, which I was just hoping that he wouldn't get burned or some other kind of status effect. It's really debilitating, so I try and get it out sometime in the match for Gliscor. He goes for the Hydro Pump, so those are his four moves: Thunderbolt, Hydro Pump, Thunder Wave, and Confuse Ray. I'm just kind of going back and forth with this pivot switching, and it's doing a number on his Rotom, which is surprising because this isn't that much of a special attack invested Rotom. It's mainly just speed and a little bit of bulk so it can Trick Scarf effectively. He does go for the Thunderbolt again, which surprised me because Hydro Pump would have made more sense because I'm going nuts with the pivot switching. I go into Sableye, he switches out, I go for the Taunt, thinking he's probably going to go into his Blaziken. He's got Blaziken and Dragonite also on his team, and I just wanted to get the Taunt off. I didn't want to deal with the Dragon Dance. I didn't want to deal with the Blaziken. And if he had stayed in, I just wanted to get the Taunt off just to make sure that it didn't Thunder Wave or anything like that. So Taunt was the best move there. I switch out into Gliscor, which absolutely destroys most Mega Blaziken. I don't understand the banning. Maybe get rid of Blazikenite, but whatever. I've become very disenfranchised with Smogon as of late with all of the recent bannings and Slippery Slope. Well, one thing's banned. I'm not going to get into that on this video. But Gliscor is a beast. He is the MVP of this match. He goes for the Power-Up Punch. Not really sure why. I guess to try and get some attack boosts and for Stone Edge hacks, crit hacks. But I go for the Substitute. In retrospect, Earthquake might have been the safe move, but you never know. Substitute, I'm fairly confident that he cannot break the sub with any of the attacks that his Blaziken has at the moment, even with +1. So I go for the Earthquake. It's the safe and obvious move. He's got 2 Pokemon on his team that are immune to it. But that's fine, because I have Knockoff. And Knockoff is going to be very, very key in this fight. I don't like using Toxic on this team because I have Sableye, and he loves spreading the Will-O-Wisp. So he goes for the Hydro Pump. I should have gone for the Knockoff here. I really should have, and it amazes me that I didn't. But I was thinking, okay, switch out into Rotom. I don't want a minimum attack rating and have this Rotom survive. So he goes for the Confuse Ray, which confused the hell out of me. Maybe he was, I don't know. Because if I had used Sub again, which wouldn't have made any sense, but I could have fished out the Hydro Pump miss. But if I had used Substitute, the Confuse Ray would have done nothing. And he gets the crit with his Thunderbolt. Of course, I hurt myself in my confusion. I get the confusion hacks, and I get the crit hacks. So I'm pissed off right now. I'm thinking this match is over with because he's going to kick my ass with his Dragonite. But what ends up happening is I knock off, and I don't know if that really does anything against a Mega Stone Pokemon. Does it? I'm not sure. I get the poison heal anyway. Again, there's not a whole lot that Blaziken can do here, so it would have made sense for me to go for the substitute. I go for the Earthquake. It's a pivot fest right now. I love it, but hate it at the same time. And this knockoff is key. It gets rid of the Charcoal. What the hell, Charcoal? Dragon Dead's... It's Fire Punch? Fire Punch Dragonite. Okay, odd. So, I have to switch out Gliscor because there's not... I have to get the burn off. I know I can live this Fire Punch if the Charcoal is off. He doesn't have any other chance, but he gets the burn hacks. But thank God for leftovers. So, I go for the Will-O-Wisp. I have no idea why he didn't kill me because I get the Will-O-Wisp off. It doesn't miss. And he goes for the Roost, and I'm wondering why, because was he hoping for a Will-O-Wisp miss or a taunt or something? Did he want to get his multi-scale back up? It's moot now because he's burned. But this is awesome because the burn is on. I don't have to worry about multi-scale anymore. And now he's only at +1. I get off the taunt. It's the only move that made sense because I was going to die at the end of the turn anyway. Knockoff wouldn't have done anything. So the correct move for him would be to go for the D-Dance, so I had to taunt. I get the leftovers recovery again, not that it matters too much. Sableye should have died 2 turns earlier if I hadn't gotten that knockoff on the Dragonite. But the burn makes all the difference. Sableye is such an anti-meta Pokemon. I love it! And if it had been used more, there would be a lot less bannings to the Ubers tier on Smogon. But, whatever. Gliscor becomes a freaking beast. It is 3-1 deficit right now. He has all 3 Pokemon still alive. I only have Gliscor. So, that burn was key. The taunt was key, so he can't D-Dance anymore. My only option is knockoff. And I'm waiting for... He's already revealed the Roost. So I'm sitting here and I'm waiting for the taunt to wear off. And there it is. And he uses the Roost, and I know he's faster than me. I know he's going to be grounded, so I make the prediction, oh my god, I'm going to regret this if I'm wrong. I go for the Earthquake. And it hits because he's roosted. I usually don't make really good predictions like that, and when I do, I get really proud of myself. But whatever. This is still a 3-1 deficit. He's got the Fire Punch, but I've got the sub up. And I can survive 1 Fire Punch and still have the sub up. So the knockoff brings it down to burn range. It goes down, and now I'm in a very commanding position even though it's still 2-1. Because I've got the sub up. I can one-shot the Rotom that he's going to send in, and I can deal with pretty much anything that the Mega Blaziken has to offer. So, my anti-meta team, I've never understood why Sableye isn't used more often, because it's such an anti-meta Pokemon. The priority Will-O-Wisp hurts anything that's not a Fire type. Priority Taunt, priority Recover, it can knock off or foul play. There's just so much potential for it to wreck so many popular options, so I don't understand the UU tiering. Gliscor gets the Earthquake. I know it's not going to be quite enough to kill it, but it will bring it down to pretty much critical range. He gets the Speed Boost. Again, it doesn't matter. He gets the Stone Edge. He has to hope for the +1 crit hacks. Doesn't get it. Earthquake for the win. Gliscor comes back from a 3-1 deficit. That was awesome. I hope you guys have enjoyed that. It was a really fun battle for me, and it's not often that that kind of stuff happens on the battle spot. Since this is a new style of video, let me know what you guys thought with any comments or feedback you have. If you're not already subscribed to the channel and want to see more Pokemon videos in the future, by all means, click the link in the annotation. I plan on doing a lot more like this to come. And if you'd like to battle sometime, the easiest way to reach me is by adding me on Facebook. With that said, have a good day, everyone.